So I want to start at the beginning with My Week with Marilyn. This is based on two memoirs by Colin Clark. How did you first hear about this project, and how did the role come to you guys?
Well, for me, it literally landed on my doorstep. The script delivered, picked it up, took it upstairs with me to bed, read it, closed it, knew I wanted to make that movie and play that part. No inkling of how I would or if I could, but just that I wanted to. And I feel like I committed myself to it that day, and some part of me was sort of already there, and I kind of started working on it that morning when I woke up. So, yeah.
Is it true? This is like the craziest thing I can imagine. Did you tell the director you wanted to audition, even though he didn't want to make you audition?
I did. I suppose, yeah, I did. It's a funny thing. I remember waiting for the day when I wouldn't have to audition over and over again. But then all of a sudden I wanted to know that, I wanted to know that I could do it, and I wanted somebody else to tell me with an empirical understanding that I could in fact do it. And Simon came to my house, and I had already made my decision, but said, listen, I want to spend the next month, I want to work something up for you, and when we get back together again, I want to show it to you, and then I want you to tell me what you think. And because of time and schedule, that didn't happen, but what happened is that I started preparing, and then I was too far down the road to sort of turn back.
And what about for you, playing Laurence Olivier, who you've already been compared to for a large part of your career? Seems a natural progression almost.
Well, the thing about comparisons to the great man was really, he was part of underlining how scary it was to play a part like this, because I don't know how it quite seemed here, but certainly in England, he so dominated the idea of what an actor was, with a quite phenomenal career and sublime work in so many instances and in so many sort of venues, that anybody who ever played anything that he ever played, which was a lot of classical parts, so if you did any of those, you'd always be, compared. That's everybody that ever followed. But he showed you, and you learnt, well, that's part of a classical tradition, and you better get used to it. Even so, when I was asked about it, David Parfit, who was one of the producers with Harvey Weinstein, was here. I was in town. I was editing Thor, and I did a version of the same thing, which was to say, look, I don't want to look. Would be so easy to get this wrong. I don't know what the wrong is, but I know there are many forms of it. So can I, when I come back home, which was about a month later, could I sit with you and Simon Curtis, the director, who I'd worked with as a producer before and knew him to be very sensitive, very intelligent, very passionate fella. So I knew that would be exciting. But I went back and we met at BAFTA in London, and I sort of kind of walked around the boardroom many times trying to be him, and got past what was the very embarrassing first moment of trying to say it out loud and sort of try and do the voice, but just and be feeling about 4 years old and hoping that they wouldn't laugh at me, but at the same time knowing that this was sort of necessary. That was the first bit of what would be a sort of very exciting but very exposing kind of process.